Alrighty, hello people, welcome to the World Between Worlds. My name is Matt, and today we're going to be going over my WWE Wrestlemania 2026 predictions. So we're going to kind of do it chill, almost like a podcast. I'm not really going to edit much. We're just going to have a conversation, talk about my thoughts about it, and go from there. So let's get right into it. Starting off, the first hour is going to be on ESPN2, right? So for night one, the match card got announced, what was that? 5 days ago. So from whatever day this is, 5 days ago, it looks like the tag team match of the Usos and LA Knight versus the Vision and ISO Speed. So this build has been pretty okay. I think they have dropped the main event type of beat that Jey Uso was on. They took him out of the Roman storyline as well. The Usos, that is. I guess it's fine. LA Knight fans are suffering. I know they are. And, honestly, it's not too bad. I see why the story got put together. They've told a fine story with it. It just, a lot of big names in there that could be doing something a little bit more. But, as for my predictions, let's see. I believe that the Vision are going to lose here. I think they're going to lose. I think the Usos and LA Knight are just too big of a team to kind of lose in a scenario like this. I think ISO Speed's there to kind of eat the pin. He's going to accidentally screw up the Vision there. So Usos and LA Knight, I think, are going to win that. Moving on, we have Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu, right? In an unsanctioned match. So, because it's on ESPN2, I don't think they're going to allow them to bleed. At least not like Blade, So if they bleed, it'll be the hard way. I kind of do think this feud would need some blood. I mean, we just saw on SmackDown Jacob Fatu get bloodied up. But as for who's going to win, I think Jacob Fatu is going to win. I've liked the build so far. It's so sad to see Drew McIntyre not walk into WrestleMania as the champ, but this is a good secondary feud for him if it's not for the world title. I've really liked the build. They've done a good job, and I think Drew McIntyre is going to take a break after this year's WrestleMania to go film a movie. I don't know. I forgot which movie it is, but I think he's due for some time off here, and we need Jacob to have kind of a win coming out of it, just because he's going to be the one that's going to be around. Moving on to the main card, we have the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way match. That is Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. We have Nia Jax and Lash Legend, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and then the Bella Twins. So right now, we don't know if it was Nikki Bella is not cleared. Right? She was seen with a boot walking around backstage, so we don't know if they're going to be in the match. And if they are not in the match, it would be the Kabuki Warriors taking their place. But we're going to go off the assumption that they are going to be ready for the match, or that Nikki will be better for the match. So the Bellas are in there, right? And if the Bellas are in this match, I think the Bellas are going to win. That's the whole reason Brie came back, was so that they could get a championship run with a legendary tag team like themselves, or, sisters, So I think the Bellas are going to win. If they are not in the match, then I think you give the titles to Bayley and Lyra. I saw Bayley's promo on Raw, and it was very fiery, and it reminded me of what a main event Bayley could really do. I think we give them a chance to run with the titles a little bit here, and then maybe they implode before SummerSlam and we get Bayley versus Lyra, right? That's all fantasy booking, but I want Bayley and Lyra to win. I think they will win if the Bellas are not in this match, and if the Bellas are in this match, the Bellas are going to walk away with the titles here. Moving on, AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental Championship. As much as the main event scene needs a big star like Becky Lynch in it to kind of get back in there, especially on SmackDown, if we're being real, because after WrestleMania, things are bound to get shaken up a little bit, and superstars are meant to go all different sorts of brand switches and whatnot. But I think Becky gets her win back here and beats AJ for the title. So I have Becky going to win the Intercontinental Championship. Moving on, we have Gunther versus Seth Rollins, and it's going to be a match of the year contender for sure. And, it's a shame because if both the Braun Breaker and Rey Mysterio, they're rumored WrestleMania opponents from way back in January, both of them are cleared right now. And I get you don't want to rush it. And maybe Rey turned down working with Gunther because he wants his son to retire him at next year's Mania or SummerSlam, whatever it might be. Probably next year's Mania, but for Seth Rollins, I mean, that was a great story with the Vision that was brewing, believe it or not, back when they were at full strength, because you had that Braun Breaker turning on Seth Rollins was great heel turn, and the fact that they can't pay it off right now, it's unfortunate, but I get that they don't want to just rush that into a Mania in 2 weeks. That is something that deserves a couple month build. So maybe for SummerSlam, those guys could probably go at it. Speaking of Braun Breaker, I think he costs Seth Rollins the match here, and we're going to get a Gunther win, and that'll kind of set up the favor that Paul Heyman owes Gunther. That'll be a match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam to kind of retire Lesnar here. So I think they both have bigger fish to fry than each other, and like I said, I think Braun Breaker costs Seth the match, and Gunther is going to walk out with the win here. Moving on to the Women's World Championship match, you have Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer. I think Liv wins. I think we not need a new champ, but Liv has worked so hard, and it was they're doing a great job telling their story here every week. Liv Morgan definitely gets the win, and then maybe at Backlash you have a triple threat between Liv and the other members of the Judgment Day. I think Liv probably gets either kicked out or keeps mistreating, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne. So I think maybe that's in her future. So I think Liv Morgan takes the title off of Stephanie. Moving on to the Night 1 main event, you have Randy Orton with Pat McAfee against Cody Rhodes, probably with Jelly Roll. I'm not a fan of how they're telling this story. I think they're doing so many things wrong with it, when in reality it should be a pretty simple build. Two guys, 20-plus year history, over 50 years combined in the business. That's a simple story to tell. But instead we get the Pat McAfee stuff and the Jelly Roll stuff being involved. Look, it's whatever. I'm not hyped from the build. They have not done a good job. But I am hyped for the in-ring work that these two can do. Either way, I think they're going to pull off a really great match. I really hope Pat McAfee doesn't get involved. I just want a straight one-on-one, just a great banger, And I think either way, I see Randy Orton winning the WWE Championship and carrying it probably to SummerSlam, or he could drop it back to Cody, make Cody chase it again or something like that. So I think Night 1 ends with Randy Orton standing tall. Moving on to Night 2. I think Night 2, 100% better match card, in my opinion. First hour, again, on ESPN. We're going to do the Men's Intercontinental Championship ladder match. So this is actually looking like going to be one of the better matches of this year's WrestleMania. You have Dragon Lee, Rusev, newly returned Rey Mysterio. That was exciting. We have J.D. McDonough. We have Penta, the champion. And we have Javon Evans. As for who I think is going to win, I think Javon has this. I think Javon doesn't need the win necessarily, but it'd be a great way for WWE to kind of cement him as this is the next big thing over here. And I think the Intercontinental Championship is a great first step for him. I think he has a long and pretty awesome career ahead of him. He can do crazy things in the ring. All these guys are going to be they have such great ladder match chemistry, I feel like, even though we haven't really seen these guys together and there's no real story build. This has potential to be a great match, and I think Javon Evans is going to win. Moving on, we have Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi. The best built feud in this WrestleMania, I think, has gone to this, and they've had limited screen time. It's been maybe 5-10 minutes per show, and it's just been Oba destroying Brock. And Oba needs to win this. They have to do it. It won't matter. if, they have a good back and forth and then Brock barely squeaks out a win, that doesn't do it. Oba needs to beat Brock defiantly, right? I mean, they just need to spam finishers. If it goes longer than 5-6 minutes, what are we doing? And end it and have Oba just destroy him, right? And then that'll kind of, maybe we have all this time between now and SummerSlam to build Brock back up where he's just beating everybody on the roster and maybe move Oba to somewhere else. But, I see Oba going for the World Championship next after this. That'll kind of tie Oba up and Brock can just build himself up for his retirement match on SummerSlam. Moving on, we have Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams for the United States Championship in a straight one-on-one match. It should not be one-on-one. It should be a triple threat or a fatal four with Carmelo or Ilya in there. But here we are. I think Trick has to win this. This is not... If Sami wins and they think it's going to, generate big heat on him and have us boo him, we've been booing him already. It doesn't matter, right? Trick Williams needs to win. Trick Williams is the bigger star, and I see Trick Williams going on to become a world champion one day, and this is the first stepping stone that he needs to have. So I think Trick Williams has to win the United States Championship. Moving on, we have the WWE Women's Championship match. We have Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. This build has been god-awful. It's been some of the worst television I've ever had to sit through. I'm not excited at all from the build for this, but again, I know in the ring these guys can go, especially Rhea. I think Rhea can carry Jade. When Jade first came on, she was a little shaky, but that's to be expected. She's fresh. She's still very green in the ring compared to everyone else here. So I think Rhea's going to carry Jade to a good match here. I honestly see Jade Cargill retaining for the sole reason of Bianca Belair. Bianca's been out for, feels like almost a year. I know she competed last year at Mania, but I feel like, she's been gone for so long with a finger injury. There's no reports on whether she's healed or not, but I think Jade retains only because of the Bianca match that they could do and set up for at, hopefully, SummerSlam. I want it on a big show, because I think that story could be really, really good if they tell it correctly. I don't know if I have faith in them telling it correctly, but, if Bianca's there, that's a big star. WWE's going to invest time in it. Same what they did, like, with this feud and Rhea Ripley. The build was terrible, but they invested time in it, and I think if you invest time in whatever it is, Bianca versus Jade, that's a moneymaker. You really don't need to do much. Everyone's already sold on that. So I think Jade Cargill wins as much as her title reign's been lackluster. You just have a bigger match coming in, and we're going to have to prepare for that. Moving on, you have Dominic Mysterio versus the Demon Finn Balor. I don't like that they brought the Demon back for this. Demon does not need to be here to beat Dom. I think Finn Balor could have done it. Well, not the way he's been, treated now. I mean, everyone online calls him Pin Balor for a reason. Hopefully, this will start the win streak back for Finn. Obviously, it's the Demon. The Demon should have never lost before. He only lost to straight up God and Edge in the Hell in a Cell, but we don't talk about that. So I think Demon Finn Balor wins, plain and simple. The main event of Night 2, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. So I like how the World Heavyweight Championship is the main event of Night 2 and not the WWE Championship. I like that they're switching it up a little bit, and I know it's only because Roman is there, right? This is the better feud, the bigger stars, if you will, Roman and Punk. This build has been pretty okay. I've liked this a lot. Very consistent, I feel. As for who's going to win, I think the Tribal Chief walks out with the victory here. I just think that it's time for another Roman title win and a reign, if you will. Take it, I don't know where, probably till next year's Mania. He's going to guard that like it's his, the Universal Championship he won years ago. I don't think it'll be as long as a reign as that'll be probably never topped in our lifetime, but I think Roman wins here, and those are my predictions. Before we go, I want to talk about some notable absences from this year's Mania, the people that I think have no right to be left off the card. It's a dang shame, Obviously, Carmelo Hayes, that's easy. Slot him into the triple threat. Slot him into the United States Championship. It would make sense narratively, but, he's out with injury. No, he's not. I feel bad for the guy, because he carried SmackDown on his back from January. And speaking of carrying SmackDown on your back, let's talk about Ilya Dragunov missing from that match as well. You could have easily told a story with all four of them and have this be a fatal four-way match, but I know there's a lot of, multi-man matches on this card. Looks like Sunday there's one. Actually, there's not. Everything is just straight up singles matches other than the fatal four-way tag team championship for the women. But, you could have added this in, and I think you could have. Those guys, those four in a match can cook. It'd be insane what the type of match these guys, Carmelo, Ilya, Trick, and Sammy, could put on. Tiffany Stratton, she went into WrestleMania last year as the champion, if I believe is to be correct. So I think it was her versus Charlotte last year, I want to say. But a former world champion not on the card anywhere. Nah, no bueno. I don't know if I would have put her in Rhea's spot and had Io and Rhea stay together. That way they're both on the card. I don't know what I would have done. But I think, Tiffany missing, it's not good for her. Julia missing as well. You could easily tell a story between Tiffany and Julia. Have the United States Championship on the line for the women. And the fact that a women's United States Championship is not on the card at all, but I feel like everything else is. Nah. Also speaking of the women, Io Sky, the best WWE women's performer that they have, the best WWE women's wrestler that they have in all of WWE is missing WrestleMania in her prime. Because we didn't have a story for her. Are you kidding me? Io Sky was the best part of last year's WrestleMania and the best part of the year before that WrestleMania, with both their matches with Bayley and Rhea Ripley. She should not be missing WrestleMania, period. Other notable mentions, Damian Priest. He hasn't been doing much, but, former world champ as well. Find something for him. Instead he's going to be in, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on SmackDown the day before. I get you can't fit everyone on the card here, but it's Damian Priest. Neither of the El Grande Americanos will be on the card, but I just saw they're doing some crazy stuff in AAA, so I think that's going to be where their audience is. I'm okay with that. Rey Fenix, another guy you could just add into the ladder match. Make it 7 people, I think Rey Fenix, they're not using him at all, and they're waiting for Penta to kind of bring the Lucha Bros back together. This could be a way to start introducing them together. You could have them work together in the ladder match. I don't know where Rey Fenix has been. And then you have the New Day, but they haven't really been doing anything either. They're just a big name in WWE, and they aren't being utilized. So, anyway, those are my WrestleMania predictions. Let me know who you guys think is going to win and stuff in the comments below. Thank you for watching.